welcome to ATS Behind the City. If you enjoy travel, history, American Truck Simulator, or any one of these things, you're at the right video. I'm your host, Sella. Come along the Dragon Express as we examine cities featured in American Truck Simulator, compare them to their real-life counterparts, and explore some history along the way. Today, I have a guest joining me. Their channel, AJM Studios Geography, features a variety of videos related to geography, such as maps, abandoned areas, seaports, flags, and so much more. So if you're looking to find out some interesting information and history from places around the world, please do check out their channel and give them some support. I'm so happy to have you here, AJ. Please, are you ready to explore Idaho Falls and all of its history?
Hey there, Sella. Thanks for the kind introduction. Thank you for the opportunity to allow me to partake in this new episode of ATS Behind the City. You ready to do a deep dive into Idaho Falls with me?
Absolutely. Please, why don't you start us off with the history?
Sure thing. Located in Bonneville County, Idaho Falls is Idaho's second largest metropolitan area in the state, outside of Boise. It is the fourth largest city in the state based off the 2020 U.S. Census. The city's population was 64,818, while the metro area is about 133,000 people. Eastern Idaho's central city of Idaho Falls owes its existence to the Snake River and the railroad. The city sits along both sides of the river, the lifeblood of the state's agricultural industry, and the patronage of surrounding farming communities contribute to its continuing growth. The Snake River runs through Idaho Falls. Visitors can enjoy walking on a 3-mile greenbelt trail along the river, as well as see the namesake Idaho Falls themselves. Also near the riverbank is the Idaho Falls Temple of the Church of Latter-day Saints, aka the Mormons, and it's pretty hard to ignore that stately steeple. And on the west side of the river, we have the very iconic and unique looking Best Western Driftwood Inn. The rooms are really unique in that hotel. They're triangular, very strange, but hey, landmark.
Probably comes with some great views of the Snake River in downtown Idaho Falls. Also, I think it's worth mentioning the area long before it started to shape into the towns and the cities that we recognize today. The Bannock Indians were there first. The Shoshone-Bannock tribe are located on the Fort Hall Reservation in southeastern Idaho, between the cities of Pocatello, American Falls, and Blackfoot. The reservation is divided into 5 districts: Fort Hall, Lincoln Creek, Ross Fork, Gibson, and Bannock Creek. They're about a 40-minute drive away on Interstate 15.
As a matter of fact, just recently, the Bannock Nation and the county fire department had to put out a large brush fire that was spreading throughout their land. It actually threatened some properties in Fort Hall and could have been really bad, honestly. This happened in August 2022, so either a very long time ago from when you're listening to this, or just recently.
I wasn't aware of the fire. It's a good thing they got that handled. But I steered us a little off course, so let's get back to the development of Idaho Falls.
The development of Idaho Falls coincided with the gold rush of the 1860s. In 1864, Harry Ricketts established a ferry to cross the Snake River 9 miles north of the present-day city. The next year, a freighter, Matt Taylor, constructed a log toll bridge. It was a timber-to-frame toll bridge across a narrow black basaltic gorge, 7 miles downstream from the ferry. The bridge improved travel for settlers moving north and west, and for miners, freighters, and others seeking riches in the gold fields of Idaho and Montana, especially the boom towns of Bannock and Virginia City. It wasn't long before the Utah Northern Railway was built, stretching north from Utah through Eagle Rock and crossing the Snake River at the same narrow gorge as Taylor's Bridge. The railway would eventually connect to the large new copper mines up in Butte, Montana. The UNR had the backing of robber baron Jay Gould, as the Union Pacific Railroad had just purchased the line a few years prior.
Of those 2 bridges that you mentioned, Matt Taylor's Bridge was later reconstructed. It's no longer open for vehicle traffic, however, pedestrians are able to walk across it. And the Northern Railway, their bridge is still in use to this day. between the ferries and everything else that happened in that small area, I guess you could say a lot went down by the river.
It sure did. Idaho Falls is in the heart of some of the world's premier recreational spots. Yellowstone National Park is less than 2 hours to the north, and the quintessential western town of Jackson, Wyoming, and the Grand Teton National Park are less than 2 hours northeasterly. Not to mention the world-famous fly fishing on Henry's Fork of the Snake River near Island Park along Highway 20. I can't say I've ever personally fished there before, but I've driven by it, so maybe someday. Idaho Falls is home to the Eastern Idaho Regional Medical Center, the region's foremost healthcare facility. It's also known throughout the country for its extensive health and medical libraries. There's also the Museum of Idaho, which has a national traveling exhibit that goes from museum to museum around the country. Then we got the city's library, which has an honored native son, Wilson Rawls, the author of Where the Red Fern Grows, by installing on its grounds a life-size bronze statue of Billy and his 2 dogs. It was made by local artist Marilyn Hanson. Now, though it's not technically Idaho Falls, another factor that played into the growth of Idaho Falls is the Idaho National Laboratory. It has an explosive history. Okay, well, maybe explosive isn't the right word, but it has a history. It's about 40 miles west of the city in the Idaho scrubland. In fact, it's often said that the lab and Idaho Falls grew up together. Called The Site by locals, the facility was founded in 1949 as the National Reactor Testing Station. It was established there to provide an isolated location where various kinds of nuclear reactors could be tested. 52 in all were built there over the years.
Well, it's funny that you're bringing up INL because this route is actually going to have us end in Arco. So, since it's along the way, why don't we stop by INL?
Wait, it's open to the public?
It's actually a historic landmark, and it's now open to the public from Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day weekend, 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And admission, it's free. Though I think COVID restrictions have halted the public tours, so hopefully if you're listening to this in the future, it will be back open.
Well, that's something to see. What about Arco?
Right, even though Idaho Falls benefited greatly from INL, I might argue that Arco benefited the most. Arco has about 875 people. It was originally known as Root Hog. The original town site is 5 miles south, at the junction of the 2 stagecoach lines, Blackfoot Wood River and Blackfoot Salmon. A suspension bridge that crossed the Big Lost River funneled traffic through the settlement. The town leaders applied to the U.S. Post Office for the name of Junction, which makes sense for the name as it's the highway junction for US 20, 26, and 93. But the postmaster thought the name was a little too common and said the place should be called Arco for George von Arco, who was visiting from Germany in Washington, D.C. at the time. Fun fact, every year the graduating high school class climbs a nearby mountain to paint gigantic numbers of their graduation year on the side of the mountain. It appears to be a tradition that could date all the way back to 1929.
Not gonna lie, that's a pretty cool tradition.
And of course, the town is also proud to be the first city, not just in the United States, but the entire world, to be powered solely by nuclear energy.
Yes, that's right. On July 17, 1955, at 11 p.m., an electrical engineer at the testing station flipped a switch, and the nearby town of Arco became the first city to be powered by nuclear energy. Every decade or so, it seems, the facility undergoes a new name change. The most recent was in February of 2005, when it was shortened to the Idaho National Laboratory. Management for this site is centered in Idaho Falls.
There's just so much history in the area that I'm sure we could still cover, But I think if we did that, the video would become an hour long, maybe even longer.
You're right, there's just so much and it's hard to condense it all.
Yeah, no kidding. I already learned that myself. I had to leave out a lot because there's just so much realism that they packed into this area. They did a fantastic job. What are your thoughts about Idaho Falls, both the game version and the real version?
Having been there a few times in person and witnessing it again in this informative video and in-game, I must say the folks at SCS have done an incredible job bringing Idaho's fourth largest city to life. It really just comes to life with all these touches that make it all seem so recognizable. Even coming off Interstate 15, crossing the Snake River, seeing the circular hotel on the riverfront, driving through downtown, it's all so immersive because you see all these landmarks in real life in the game. It's really cool. There are truly not many products out there that give these experiences to people, especially in towns and cities that are outside of the major media centers like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. I mean, name a single other game where you can play in Idaho Falls, Idaho, or Walla Walla, Washington, or what have you. It's a really unique experience and something that many people can latch on to. It's fun for the locals who live in these towns who get to see things they recognize, but it's also fun for the player who will never go to Idaho Falls. They get to see and experience a part of the country they may have never gone to and maybe never will.
That is so true. I can really attest to that myself. One thing that really got me interested in this game was that, being able to travel across the country virtually. And yeah, it's not the real cities and they leave out a lot and all that other stuff. However, I think they do a great job at capturing the essence of the city, at least. I've never gone to any of these cities yet and felt just like, no, this is not even close. Every place I've gone to that at least feels like, yeah, that could be the real place to me. So it is nice for someone that's just not well traveled to get a little taste of what's out there. Thank you again, AJ, for joining me today with this very special episode of ATS Behind the City, Idaho Falls and Arco, Idaho.
Thanks for having me, Sella. It was a pleasure.
And again, everyone watching, please be sure to go check out his channel, AJM Studio Geography. I'm looking forward to getting the chance to work with you again.
I think that would be awesome, and I hope it happens again soon. I love history, and history of the American West is kind of my focal point, so anytime, let me know.
As the video starts to close up, we're going to do some overview shots of Arco, Idaho. They did a wonderful job with the city in the game, and of course the surrounding areas as well. What did you like? Did you like Idaho Falls, how they represented it? Arco? Did you learn anything? Let me know what you thought about this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, ring the bell, leave a like, drop a comment. Those 4 things go a very long way towards helping my channel grow, and it's free. It's a free way to support. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next ATS Behind the City.